So this week we have results of 1.20.50.22 preview. And today we're going to go over all the brand new features that this new preview gives us. And I tell you what, there's a lot of really good features if you are someone who loves to build, including brand new copper variants. So we now have brand new copper grates, copper doors, trap doors, and all sorts of really exciting blocks. And one of my favorite looking blocks is probably the chiseled copper. So because those are 4 different variants, and if you want to craft this, it's very simple. Just grab the appropriate type of copper, then go into a stone cutter, then check those in there. Then you can make yourself all the new copper variants, including the chiseled and the grate. And this also applies to exposed copper, weathered copper, and oxidized copper. Now these can also be crafted with 2 cut copper slabs of the shared oxidation level. However, as of right now, that is currently broken. And next up is going to be the copper grates. But these will work exactly like glass, as in that they're transparent and allows light to pass through. Mobs cannot suffocate in them. They don't conduct redstone, and also mobs cannot naturally spawn on them. If you want to get yourself these grates, it's crafted with the appropriate type of copper. And if you do want to craft them, just grab the appropriate type of copper, then put them into a crafting table, then you get your appropriate grate. Now they can also be waxed to the crafting table. They cannot be waxed any other way. So if I grab myself a grate, then I grab myself a honeycomb. I place down a grate, then I try to interact. Okay, that's interesting. It turns into regular copper. I was not expecting that one. So yeah, I can see why it's broken. But yeah, the only way is through a crafting station, or at least through your inventory. Then you get your appropriate waxed copper grates. But let's go ahead and move on to the next section, which is going to be the new trapdoors and doors. Now, my goodness, these doors, they're so beautiful. Now, these can oxidize over time, then they can also be waxed. Now, the way you wax them is by placing it on the door. Then you need to crouch every honeycomb and interact. Then it's going to wax the door. Now, they can also be opened and closed by interacting. And you can also use redstone. And they're going to be crafted by using the appropriate type of copper. And this is going to be the recipe for the doors. All you need is 6 of the appropriate copper. So this is for regular copper doors, exposed copper doors, weathered copper doors, and oxidized copper doors. And you can imagine these recipes are going to be similar for all the trapdoors as well. So the copper bulbs, they're very interesting. It's definitely really cool as well. Now depending on the oxidation level they're at, then it's going to change the light level. So regular copper bulbs are going to be at light level 15. Weathered copper bulbs are at 12. Weathered copper bulbs are at level 8. And the fully oxidized copper bulbs, they're going to be light level 4. So definitely extremely dim. Now the best way I can show you this is if I go to press this button, then it's lights out. Then let's go ahead and activate these. Yet again, this is the regular copper bulbs. But also I wanted to point out that when you press the button one time, then the light stays on. This will also apply for pressure plates or levers or whatever you're using to activate these. And once they're on, then they can activate comparator. If whatever the comparator is hooked up to, then it's going to be activated. Definitely a really cool mechanic. Now the moment you press the button again, then the lights will go out. But you may also notice the little redstone dot. So as long as it's getting redstone current, then that red dot will always be there. That is something I definitely do like about it. But let's go to the oxidized copper version. So if I were to click on this button, we're going to activate this. And if I keep on interacting with it, then it's going to eventually become extremely bright because we're deoxidizing it. That is definitely pretty cool. Now if you do want to craft these, just grab the appropriate type of copper. You also need a blaze rod and you need redstone. So go and place that in that formation. Then you get your appropriate copper bulbs. By the way, you get 4 of them out of the deal. This is the recipe for the exposed, the weathered, and this is for the fully oxidized. And it's time to move on to the next section, which is all about the new Tuff Blocks. Now, I am a big fan of these Tuff Blocks. They definitely do look pretty stylish, and I definitely would be using these in my builds. Now, when Tuff was first introduced, we only had this one lonely block. So now you can make stairs, slabs, walls. You also got polished variations, and you got bricks, you got chiseled tough bricks, and even regular chiseled tough. Now crafting these is very, very easy. Just simply grab a block of tuff, go into a stone cutter, then voila, you can make all the variations. Now I'm sure that this may change in the future. I'm not 100% sure, but I do have a feeling it may. That as of right now, these cannot use a crafting table. So the only way they can craft these is through the stone cutter and not a crafting table. At least as of right now anyway. That more than likely would change. But my favorite one is probably the Chiseled. The top of this kind of reminds me of a shulker box. Or maybe the top of ancient debris. And just to look at the chiseled bricks, these just look really nice. But then there's also the bricks. But in my opinion, these look way too flat. But overall, these are quite nice. But there's also a new bat model. So I don't know what to say about this. Like, whenever I think of bats, I usually think of this old model. Like, this really did look a lot better in the game, in my opinion. Like, sure, it was outdated, but it fit in the game so much better. When it comes to the new bat model, I mean, sure, it looks really cute. It's definitely pretty cool and batish, but I much rather prefer the old one. Like, I don't know, that just might be the old Minecrafter in me, and I just don't want to see the bat change. But I still like the old one better. Oh, by the way, I will be releasing a pack that will give you the old bat model back. But finally, we're going to go over the other features. We have resolved a known issue. So a lot of you may have noticed this, but when you're in creative mode, it is greatly reduced once you touch the ground. So as you can see, I'm flying around pretty quickly. But the moment I land on the ground, then we go extremely slow. Now keep in mind that I am still flying. And now I'm not flying. You see the difference? It is very annoying and I hate it so much. But next up is features and bug fixes. A sticky piston pulling a retracting sticky piston that is pulling a player or another block no longer crouches the game. Quartz flowers can now be destroyed by any projectile, which will no longer disappear after impact. The sound emitted by decorated pods breaking have been made smashier. So let's go and have a listen. Next up, they fixed an issue where players couldn't block with a shield after releasing an item that left their inventory. Leash will no longer break if a leash mob is not in the same chunk as the leash holder upon loading a world. Mobs on fire no longer spread fire to the target when holding something in their main hand. Then we also got ourselves this book and quill. And in this book and quill, we've got a few changes to mob attack reach. So I guess someone would call this a combat change. The calculations to determine whether a mob can attack a player or not, or other mobs have been changed. Previously, a mob's horizontal width was used to determine their attack reach, and their height had no effect. But now the area where a mob can attack is now their bounding box extended in horizontal directions. And these are all the mobs that this can affect. And now down to our final two changes. They fixed an issue where the player could enter touch control customization without having touch controls. And the loading screen now displays 3 categories of tips based on the player's progression. And there's also lots of technical updates. But overall, that's pretty much it for 1.20.50.22. This preview did give us a lot of really cool features, and I am definitely excited for the future updates. And hopefully we get to see those char ruins quite soon. I do hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, then please consider leaving a like, subscribe if you're around here, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss an upload. But for now, hope you have a logical day, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye!